Hello again, folks. We're looking here at Investigation 5. So again, this is a shared video, so this is your second one for the day. First one's always a short one for intro, and this one is going to go through the details of what you need for this assignment. We're looking at, again, Tectonics Investigation 5. So what's under our feet, lay-high tectonics, and then down to this Investigation 5. That's where you find it. Again, kind of continuing the pattern here, we're looking at the question sheet Google Docs. So I'll go and click the link, make a copy, get that all set and ready to go. Again, PowerSchool lays out the same way it always has. There's the instruction sheet. Underneath, you've got the tutorial and the features videos. If you want to check those out, I definitely encourage that for some help with how to use some of those features and what they're showing. Otherwise, again, with these, as always, follow the directions. As I've been working with students again in person, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to go and answer the questions. No, you need to follow the directions. So follow the directions step by step. They tell you when to answer the question. And again, the reason here is they want you to get the right information on the screen so you can think intelligently about what you're seeing and make some decent observations and draw some inferences. So follow the directions. As far as working your way through this investigation today, Investigation 5 looks at what happens when plates move sideways past each other. So we're looking at the transform boundaries here. And we start off with looking at this Charlie Gibbs fracture zone. So this is right along that mid-Atlantic ridge in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and noticing that there's a big divergent boundary kind of comes in, and then we've got a big transform boundary across the middle here, and then another divergent boundary kind of coming out. So that's what we look at and kind of look through those things. And the purple then is that Charlie Gibbs fracture zone. So we follow the directions, answer the questions. There are some pictures you want to draw in here, and they look again with that query tool. And query just means questions. Rather than looking at all of the earthquakes, we ask a question about a certain kind of earthquakes. So they have you put in some different kinds in here. In particular, we'll look at transform earthquakes because those are on transform faults. And look at what happens as a result of that fault. Okay, so they do ask you a couple questions about details about those earthquakes and what's going on. So that's step 2. Step 3 is we start to look at exploring this transform plate boundary near the fracture zone and learn about seismic. So what's happening here? How is it moving? So we look at the age of the ocean floor, and we'll kind of be drawing some arrows in here. And what we're looking for is where these things line up. So if we notice the 10 million year old, the youngest cross kind of comes in here, and then all of a sudden there's a big jump and it's over here now. And kind of trying to understand what's happening and how things are moving as you work through. So they have some nice videos that they have you take a look at, and then they get into the drawing tools. Okay, so for the drawing tools, we're using polylines, and we want to make so that the arrows are spreading away from divergent boundaries. An easy way to find that is you want the arrows to point from the youngest crust towards the older crust, because that's the direction it moves. So from the 10 million years old to the 30 million years old. So the arrow points towards 30 million. So follow along, make sure you've got those in there right, and put all of those in there. And again, there's another screenshot for you. So as you work through, again, step 3J, there's a screenshot, put it right in here. Okay, put those in your document as you go. Then they also have you, another screenshot here shortly in a little bit where it looks like I think 3O. They have you go find some other fracture zones. And you're looking for any place where those age of the ocean floor doesn't line up. And there's lots of them. Once you start seeing them, they pop out. But you're looking for places where the age of the ocean floor does not line up is what you're looking for. Step 4, we'll look at a continental transform boundary and look at the San Andreas fault zone. So this one, again, we look at kind of some different vectors. A vector is just an arrow that shows which direction is moving and how fast or how hard it's moving or pushing. Answering some questions about those as you go. There's some nice videos in there again as well. And they do have you drawing the fault zones. You're trying to figure out where is this. And again, we're looking for kind of that line of earthquakes. And they will also put the fractures on there, the faults. So these purple lines are faults and how long ago they broke. Some of them are fairly recent. But just keep working through. And of course, then we get into seismic hazard. And so we look kind of using the swipe tool again between population densities as well as seismic hazards. We're going to go back to that seismic hazard 1 through 10 scale. and kind of looking at the relationships between those things. So you can see that swipe tool I pull across. Make sure you follow the directions. If you don't have the right layers turned on in the right order, you're not swiping the right thing, it's not going to work. All you got to do, follow the directions right in order, and you'll get the information you need. The last little bit they take you into, they got some really cool pictures of these faults throughout, which are really cool looking to see. Some of them are scary, of course, because they're earthquakes and things cut in half. But things like this, I think, are pretty cool to look at and see that the Earth is moving in this way. So again, with these, as always, follow the directions and then get the questions answered. Okay, the purpose of the directions is to get the right information on the screen so you can answer the questions. As always, if you have questions about anything in here as you're working through, please make sure you ask. Have a great day, folks.